right, so welcome to Weekly Homework Information Behavior Modification Step 3. So what we're going to be doing today is we are actually going to be ending what we started last week, which is ending the reversal procedure. What's that you say? You didn't know you were doing a reversal procedure? Well, welcome to the reversal procedure. So what we were doing last week, if you recall last week, there was officially no homework assignment. But actually what that was an implementation of a reversal procedure. So what a reversal procedure is, it's an important tool in the behavior modification arsenal, and it's a way of evaluating whether or not the behavior modification that you are doing is actually causing the behavior modification that you are observing. So are the procedures that we're implementing, the shaping, the reinforcing, are those actually causing and continuing to cause the behavior change, or is some other reinforcer maintaining that behavior change? So a reversal procedure can help us answer this question by removing reinforcement and then seeing if the behavior actually changes. For example, does it go back to pre-treatment levels? So last week, when I said that there wasn't any homework assignment, basically what I did was I said, all right, you are not going to receive reinforcement for doing the mindfulness training. You're not receiving the reinforcement of a grade for doing the logic puzzles. You're not receiving the reinforcement of a grade for doing the clockify behaviors. And that reinforcer of a grade was removed. And now we're going to see what was the effect of that on your behavior. So the first thing that we're going to do in this week's homework is we are going to end the reversal procedure. And that means that we're going to reinstate the treatment phase for mindfulness training. We're going to reinstate the treatment phase of the punishment of your unwanted target behavior. So if that's the logic training, reinstate the punishment for the logic training. If it's one of your clockify behaviors, reinstate the punishment for the clockify behavior. And basically, one aspect of this week is going to be to reinstate those behavior modification step 11 procedures. So if you need a review on what that is, make sure that you check out homework step 11 for a refresher if needed. But basically, we are going back to the way that things were the week before, the previous week, behavior modification step 11. So you're going to continue tracking this week your two target clockify behaviors, your highest ranked one and your second highest ranked. You are going to continue doing your mindfulness training to increase your mindfulness training to that 12-minute level. I believe this is the last week. We should be getting to 12 minutes this week. You're going to continue your logic training, punishing your logic training to decrease your duration on logic training. Make sure that we're doing those logic puzzles faster. And you're going to continue your daily writing. And the daily writing is going to pay off next week. Promise. That's when we're going to be doing our daily writing. So reinstate all of those procedures. So we're going to reinstate the shaping of the mindfulness training. So see homework step 8 for a refresher on that if needed. But we're going to reinstate the shaping of the mindfulness training session length. We're going to reinstate the shaping of either the logic training or the target clockify behavior punishment. So see homework step 9 for a refresher if needed. And then what's going to be new this week, other than just reinstating what we did before, is we are now going to do a new visual analysis. So if you need a refresher on visual analysis, go check out this video, how to do a visual analysis of behavior data. But if you're ready to go, what we're going to be doing this week is we're going to do a visual analysis of the reversal procedure. So what this is going to entail is, first off, you want to make sure that you record your behavior into that weekly homework step 6 baseline and treatment phases Excel sheet. So make sure that you update this Excel sheet here so that we have your most recent data. And what you're going to want to do once you have updated this to your most recent data recordings, you are going to, which include the last week where we didn't reinforce any behavior, there wasn't anything to hand in. The behaviors that you were doing, at the very least, were not going to get reinforced by the points that you earned for completing your homework. So what we're going to do once we enter in all that information, and some of those might be blank, that's exactly what we're looking for what happened in that week. So once you update what happened in that week, we're going to go to chart 1 over here where the graph is. And the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to move this legend over here. So I did not anticipate that we would get into the legend area the way that it is right now. So what we're going to do is we're just going to right click on that and we're going to go down here to format legend. And then we have the option of moving the legend to the top. So we're going to do that. And then we're going to go back to the graph here. And you can see now that the legend is at the top. It's out of the way. It's nice and removed so that we can do a visual analysis. So you'll notice here that we have these two phase change lines. So we have the phase change line, your first one, which is where we started shaping that mindfulness training. And you can see that if there's a difference between before the mindfulness training was beginning to be shaped and after the mindfulness training started to be shaped. And then we have this other line here, and this is where we started the punishment procedure for the either logic training or your self-selected clockify behavior. So now what we need to do is we need to draw one more phase change line. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to go to insert over here, and we're going to go to insert shapes. And we're going to choose the line shape drawing tool. And we are going to find our previous week's beginning. So where we started this. So I believe it would have been April 7th here. And we are going to draw our line, our phase change line, so that we know when we had removed those reinforcers, when we started up that reversal procedure. So once you draw your line, you can go up here where it says height and width, and we can make that width down to 0. So it's a nice straight up and down line. And then once we have that line in position, now we know where the reversal occurred. So once we have that line in position, now we can start doing our visual analysis and seeing if, for example, mindfulness decreased after the reversal procedure was implemented. Did the duration of the logic training increase after the implementation of the reversal procedure? Did clockify 1 behavior or clockify 2 behavior change during the implementation of the reversal procedure? Basically, we're looking to see if when you removed reinforcement, did it have an effect on behavior? So if we take a look at this example here, we can see that after removing reinforcement, we had an effect on mindfulness training. After removing reinforcement, we bizarrely had a further decrease in the duration of the logic training. When removing reinforcement from our highest clockify behavior, we have no change in the duration of the highest clockify behavior, but the second highest ranked clockify behavior, we see a decrease after we removed reinforcement in that reversal procedure. So we need to basically make an analysis of this and make some decisions. So what you're going to do is you're going to do a visual analysis on the graph, and then you are going to use this weekly homework step 13 reversal analysis Excel sheet to basically help you make those decisions. So for example, it'll ask for mindfulness training. It'll ask for mindfulness training. Did duration decrease after the reinforcement stopped? So we take a look at our graph again, and we take a look at when reinforcement stopped. So we got that nice phase change line to let us know. And we can see that behavior duration for the mindfulness actually did start to decrease after that behavior, after the reversal procedure was implemented. So we would go back to our weekly homework step 13 reversal analysis, and we would change this to a yes. And what it then will let us know is, was reinforcement or punishment maintaining the behavior? So in this case, because the mindfulness training in this situation, the duration decreased. Once the reinforcement was removed in this reversal procedure, because it decreased, that's a good indication that the mindfulness behavior was being maintained by the reinforcement. So it wasn't being maintained by any other cause. It wasn't being maintained by any other reinforcers. It was specifically being maintained by the homework reinforcer because when we removed those homework points, mindfulness training went down. On the other hand, if you take a look at what happened here with the logic training, we have the logic training actually continuing to decrease after the reinforcement was removed. So we go back to our decision Excel sheet here, and it asks did logic training duration increase after punishment stopped? Basically, did you get slower after punishment stopped? In this case, it actually continued to decrease. So we put no. And what that means is that punishment criteria was no longer maintaining the behavior change. So you might ask yourself, well, what could possibly be maintaining the behavior change? Well, in this case, some other form of reinforcement is now maintaining the behavior. So it could be that you were in a competition with your friends and you all got together and you started comparing logic training speed. So you were not going to allow your friends to win. So that competition and doing better than your friends, that was now the reinforcement that was supporting the decrease in logic training. It could be that there was a natural reinforcement that took over. Maybe you just liked it. Maybe you just got into it. Maybe you started to identify as a person that is good at these logic puzzles. So you just kept going with it because you found it naturally reinforcing. It just made you feel good to click on that last circle and get that you completed it successful. Look at that little bell curve and see yourself on the left side of the bell curve. And you're like, oh my gosh, this is great. Maybe that was starting to reinforce the logic, the decrease in the logic duration, the faster logic training. Whatever it is, this reversal procedure indicates that it's not the homework points, in this case, that is maintaining the logic training. So for the last two, you would take a look at the clockify behaviors, and you would see that for clockify behavior 1 here, there was no change after the reversal procedure occurred. But for clockify behavior 2, there continued a decrease in clockify behavior 2. So in that case, we go back to our homework step 13 reversal analysis. And was there a change after reinforcement or punishment stopped? And in this case, for clockify behavior 1, no, there was no change. But for clockify behavior 2, yes, there was a change. And then what this will indicate is whether or not the reinforcement or punishment of the homework points was maintaining the behavior. So this is a very important thing to know when you're modifying behavior, because if you want the behavior to continue in the future, for example, after this course is finished, you're going to want to know, well, what is maintaining that reinforcement? Because according to this analysis here, once this course is over and you're no longer handing in homework, meditation, that mindfulness training is going to decrease and it's eventually going to disappear. Clockify behavior 2 is going to return to its pre-baseline levels because it's only the homework that is maintaining that behavior. On the other hand, the logic training is likely to continue and you're likely to improve in the logic training after the homework is finished, after the course is finished, and that homework reinforcement is removed. Same thing with clockify behavior number 1 in this analysis. It is likely that you are going to continue improving on clockify behavior number 1, even after you're no longer required to hand in homework to earn points. So basically, this is going to give you a nice analysis in terms of making a decision to go forward. So if you take a look at your behaviors and you say, well, that's exactly what I want to happen. I've decided mindfulness is not for me. I don't enjoy the benefits that I accrued. I've decided that clockify behavior number 2 is no longer really important to me and I don't really want to pursue it anymore. But definitely the logic training, I'm seeing a lot of benefit from that. Definitely clockify behavior number 1, I see a lot of benefit from that. If your future plans match the outcomes that you're seeing, then fine, you're good to go. These behaviors are going to continue improving. However, if you do want to maintain certain behaviors, and you realize through this reversal analysis that it was only the homework that was maintaining those behaviors, it was only the reinforcement from earning homework points that was maintaining those behaviors, well, now's your time to start planning other reinforcement procedures to increase or to maintain that behavior. So if you take a look at this analysis and you say to yourself, oh my goodness, I really want to keep in the mindfulness training. I really like the benefits that I'm seeing, but clearly this is letting me know that I'm only doing it for the homework. Well, now is the time to start thinking about other ways to reinforce yourself for doing that mindfulness training so that when the course stops, you can maintain that behavior. So use some of the things that we learned in this semester about positive reinforcement, differential reinforcement of alternative behavior, what reinforcers are effective, and start trying to set that up. Start trying to think of other ways to maintain that behavior, because this analysis here let us know a very important piece of information, namely that that behavior is being maintained by the homework points. And once those homework points are removed, that behavior is going to decrease and runs the risk of disappearing. All right, so that's basically it for the weekly homework behavior information videos for step 13. So just by way of synopsis here, you want to continue. So one more week of this, continue tracking your target clockify behaviors. So see homework step 1 for details on that. Hopefully it's automatic by now, but just in case, keep tracking your mindfulness training and keep doing your mindfulness training. So if we haven't gotten up to that 12 minutes yet, you have one more week to get there. Keep doing your logic training. Keep that punishment. If you're punishing your logic training, keep that punishment procedure in your logic training. If not, keep it up for the clockify behaviors. Keep doing your daily writing. It's going to pay off next week when we do an analysis on that behavior. So again, continue shaping your mindfulness training session length. See homework step 8 for a refresher if you need it. Continue shaping your logic training or your target clockify behavior. See homework step 9 for a refresher on that. And then what you're going to submit is you're going to submit your updated homework step 6 baseline and treatment phase Excel sheet with that extra phase line indicating when the reversal procedure began. And you are also going to hand in your homework step 13 reversal analysis Excel sheet indicating whether or not the reversal procedure showed that the homework reinforcement is the only thing maintaining that behavior, or have other reinforcers now occurred and are maintaining the behavior. So again, make sure that we do that 5 out of the 7 days. And that is it for the homework video for step 13. So I actually can't wait to see if maybe some other reinforcers have crept in there. Maybe there's some natural reinforcement going on for some of these behaviors. This is part of what it is to be a behavior modification practitioner, is the evaluating of the programs that we've been using. And this is one way to evaluate to see if change is effective, if it's not effective, and then very importantly for this one, why it's effective. So I can't wait to see the results for this. But until next time, stay frosty, stay functional, and let's see if we've modified some behavior. So we need to go to insert here, and we are going to, nope. Where are my lines? Okay. Turns out I was right.